just like the pros. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. You get it all. An incredible value.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com.
These days, news seems to come from all directions, and it can be overwhelming. Simplify your intake by watching news from where you live. WJFW NBC Newswatch 12. We deliver critical local and national news, sports highlights, and weather updates. Watch us daily on Channel 12. Visit us at WJFW.com or like us on Facebook. We are NBC Newswatch 12. Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs. 5 to 7 a.m.
You never have to ask me again if I'm a no on Kevin McCarthy. I will never vote for Kevin McCarthy.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, we'll explain how a lack of direction in the House of Representatives has left the nation without a speaker. Plus,
and things are finally calming down as the precipitation is getting out of here. When can we see the sunshine? Your full forecast is coming up.
And find out how a Wisconsin woman attempted to kill her husband through poisoning, but failed. It's Friday, January 6th.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. Jackie is out today. So the weather is a little chilly this morning. Honestly, we've had warmer days. I had to bundle up a little bit. There's a little bit of ice on the windows as well. And Devin Biggs is in the Weather Center now. Devin, why am I seeing ice on my windshield this morning?
Because it's cold outside, for long story short. We had some precipitation yesterday. I'm sure you probably went home after work yesterday. Didn't have to go anywhere, so I had to clear stuff off from yesterday. We had some freezing drizzle yesterday, so... I mean, not out of the realm of possibility. You might notice some of that this morning as we still have clouds overhead right now. You can see those clouds at this point kind of reflecting off of the camera over in parts of Park Falls. You can see the roadways, and some people are already driving out there this morning. The radar and satellite, not showing much of the clouds. These are those thin clouds that are hard to see on the satellite imagery. We'll see those with the visible satellite once the sun comes up. Bigger picture, though, most of us are starting to calm down finally as we had this system that's been moving through the down the northeastern parts of the U.S. There's a bigger system off toward the west. It's not going to be giving us much issues. We're dry for the next several days, actually, until sometime next week. Temperatures, kind of a big divide out there this morning. Look at this. We're in the upper teens here, lower 20s, even middle 20s here in our viewing area. But look off towards the north and west. Not a typo. That is 10 below in Hayward this morning. So definitely some cooler weather taking place there. Your out-the-door forecast, we will not deal with that this morning. We'll see things looking pretty decent for us. Reaching for the lower 20s. Mostly cloudy skies. Keep those sunglasses handy. The sun may try to come out later on this afternoon.
A Lafayette County woman is facing charges after authorities say she poisoned her husband's daily cup of coffee. 50-year-old Amanda Chapin has been charged with attempted first-degree homicide. Officials say Chapin put medication used for animal euthanasia into her husband Gary Chapin's coffee. They allege that she drugged her husband at least 3 times between July and August, and one dose left him in a coma. According to court records, Chapin's husband had the medication because he is a veterinarian. He has since filed for divorce and asked for a restraining order. If convicted, Chapin could face 60 years in prison. She is expected to appear in court for a preliminary hearing next week. Pay throughout Wisconsin grew 7.7% in December of 2022. On Thursday, ADP Research Institute released its national employment reports, Pay Insights for December of 2022. The median annual salary in Wisconsin is a little over $57,000. Nationally, the largest pay increases were seen in young workers, leisure and hospitality workers, and people who switched jobs just last year. Private employers added 235,000 jobs in December, and the ADP chief economist says, quote, the labor market is strong but fragmented, with hiring varying sharply by industry and establishment size. They also found businesses that hired aggressively in the first half of 2022 slowed hiring in December. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is encouraging residents to test their homes and buildings for radon during National Radon Action Month. Exposure to radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer nationally. Easy-to-use tests are widely available at hardware stores and local public health departments. Radon is an odorless radioactive gas naturally present in the ground, and it typically enters buildings through their foundations. DHS said radon exposure is the second leading cause of lung cancer death nationally. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and Surgeon General, 962 of radon deaths per year are in Wisconsin. The Wisconsin DNR is now accepting applications for the E-Cycle Wisconsin Electronics Collection Grant. Because of having no permanent collection site registered under E-Cycle Wisconsin, Forest, Florence, Iron, and Marquette counties will be given priority from the DNR. The DNR will award up to $50,000 in E-Cycle grants this year. Wisconsin electronics recycling law, which took effect in 2010, banned many electronics from being put in the trash. It also created E-Cycle Wisconsin, a manufacturer-funded program managed by the DNR that supports a statewide network of electronics collectors and recyclers. In June 2022, the DNR awarded more than $87,000 in grants to 15 electronics collection projects in 13 counties. The city of Luck, Wisconsin is living up to its namesake. On Thursday, someone bought a $15.1 million megabucks winning ticket at Wayne's Food Plus grocery store in the northwestern Wisconsin city. It's the largest megabucks jackpot won since a $22.2 million jackpot back in 2015. The Wisconsin-only game has drawings on Wednesdays and Saturdays. For the 11th time in 3 days, House Republicans were unable to elect a new speaker. Representative Kevin McCarthy's ongoing attempt to secure the gavel failed again Thursday, largely due to members of his own party. John Lawrence reports.
It's like deja vu all over again.
No nominee having received the majority of the votes cast, a speaker has not been elected.
On Thursday night, Representative Kevin McCarthy lost his 11th bid for House Speaker, making this the longest such contest in more than 160 years.
I think we're having good discussions. I think everybody wants to find a solution, and the good thing about it is we worked this all out at the beginning, so the rest of the Congress will be very productive for the American public.
Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida is among the 20 Republicans refusing to back McCarthy, preventing him from getting the votes needed to become Speaker.
I have heard from my colleagues about all the important work we have to do, and it is my sincere fear that if we were to allow Mr. McCarthy to assume the speakership, that would not get done, that it would be business as usual.
While some of the GOP holdouts say they'll remain firm.
You never have to ask me again if I'm a no on Kevin McCarthy. I will never vote for Kevin McCarthy.
McCarthy himself says he'll eventually get the gavel.
I don't pick the day. I'm confident we'll get to the solution. Otherwise, we won't be successful.
The U.S. House can't swear in new members or kick off a new session of Congress until a speaker is elected. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Coming up in international news, we'll tell you the latest tricks coming from the Kremlin as they attempt to catch a break. Plus, see the latest predictions for the world's glaciers and how quickly they might be melting away. Those stories and more news from around the world when we come back.
Are you suffering from plantar fasciitis or heel pain? The Family Foot and Ankle Clinic staff can treat your issues conservatively or with state-of-the-art surgical techniques. We are highly trained in the latest treatments and procedures to get you back on your feet as quickly as possible. Most surgical intervention is done on an outpatient basis. So don't wait. See how Family Foot and Ankle Clinic can help make your life enjoyable again. Call our office today to schedule your visit at any of our convenient locations.
There's more of what you're looking for at North Star Mohegan Casino Resort. The Clam Band, January 21st.
Yeah, that's my girl in the past.
Dylan Scott, February 3rd. Skid Row with special guest Bunk Cherry, March 9th. And Oak Ridge Boys, March 24th. Tickets available at NorthstarCasinoResort.com or call 1-800-775-CASH. Come to where the stars align at North Star Mohegan Casino Resort.
Times of transition, whether from a sad event or a joyful one, can leave us feeling adrift. Social connections are an important part of a healthy life. Being isolated and lonely can be harmful to your health. It can lead to high blood pressure, a greater risk of heart disease, and early onset dementia. So it's important to build and maintain connections to people, not just in your family, but others whose relationships bring meaning to your life. Trying a new hobby, volunteering, exercising, even using your phone or other device to stay in touch with others. All these can be great ways to keep up your social connections and your physical and mental well-being. Visit connecttoeffect.org to see if you're at risk of social isolation and find ways to get connected. This message is brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
All right, welcome back. As we get things going out there this morning, it's pretty quiet. We have some clouds that are developing this morning, so we're not going to see much sunshine. I think most of the drizzle and everything else is pretty much tapered off, so it should be a pretty decent commute to work. I know for me it was pretty good this morning. But otherwise, though, we are still seeing some clouds developing. This is the infrared satellite, the satellite that measures the clouds' temperatures. There's more clouds than what this map shows because obviously it's still dark outside, so we can't use the visible satellite right now because you wouldn't be able to see anything. But for now, here's what we're seeing. Things have really started to calm down as high pressure is starting to approach from the northwest, which will equal, though, these clouds starting to break up. So I do believe there's a chance for some sunshine to come out this afternoon. We won't get rid of the clouds entirely today, but the sun may peek out from time to time. So I would definitely make sure to keep those sunglasses with you just in case that does happen. We'll see more of those clouds getting out of here tonight, although more fog will be possible later on. Let's break this down with Futurecast. So again, here's kind of the general idea. By around noon today, we'll still deal with some clouds, with some breaks in the clouds off for the west. We'll see the break for us from time to time, although we'll still have some clouds and fog possible later on tonight. That's partly cloudy, but some areas of dense fog in some areas. A lot of that starts to get out of here as we head towards your Saturday, so a lot of sunshine on the way for your Saturday. So for sure this weekend you'll want those sunglasses. And I think this is more fog that'll be on the way later on Saturday night and parts of Sunday morning, so we'll go with a mostly clear sky with areas of dense fog possible as we head towards early Sunday morning. There is a little bit of a breeze out there, nothing too ridiculous out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, making it feel just a tad bit cooler out there. But of course, the wind won't be a huge deal at all for not only today, but also parts of tomorrow. We'll run us all the way through parts of Saturday, and really, things are looking pretty good. Not much of any wind to worry about anytime soon. Temperatures, a sharp divide out there this morning. Look at this. We were in the upper teens here in the Northwoods, lower 20s in Antigo, mid-20s in Wausau, but this is a divide 7 below air temperatures in Ashland and Hayward at 10 below. We're only at 3 below this morning over in Superior. A lot cooler air moving in for the north and west. All right, our average high temperature, I haven't shown this graphic in a while, 23 degrees. We'll reach for the lower 20s today, back in the mid-20s Saturday to Sunday, which is actually above normal. It'll pretty much stay above normal by just a little bit for the next few days in the 20s. So not much will be melting anytime soon with temperatures that will remain below freezing. And with that in mind, though, I know there's plenty of ice out there to go ice fishing, but let's keep the safety advice in mind. Most of the areas is seeing about a foot of ice, so definitely check that ice before heading out onto the lakes. But we're kind of at that point where cars and small trucks, or cars and medium-sized trucks and such, could head out there. But just keep an eye on the ice thickness and just know what your vehicle can handle and what its weight is. 20 degrees today is what we'll do with a mostly cloudy sky. Yes, the sun may come out from time to time. Northwest wind at about 5 miles per hour. As for tonight, 4 degrees, partly cloudy, areas of dense fog on the way, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And that Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast. A lot of dry days on the way. A lot of sunshine this weekend. Temperatures in the mid-20s, upper 20s Monday. More clouds moving in. Tuesday, mid-20s, mostly cloudy. Slight chances for snow on the way Wednesday and Thursday. Michael?
Thanks, Devin. Ukraine, Germany, and the United States have dismissed President Vladimir Putin's unilateral ceasefire declaration. Putin this week ordered his forces to observe a 36-hour truce for Orthodox Christmas starting today. According to the Kremlin, Ukraine and its allies see it as a way for Russia to regroup and possibly move more troops and equipment onto the battlefield safely. President Biden said in a White House briefing that he thinks Putin is trying to find some oxygen after 10 months of war and tens of thousands of casualties on the Russian side. In his nightly addresses, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said a real ceasefire would come when Russian troops withdraw from the country. And a new study finds Earth's glaciers will melt at an alarming rate for the next 80 years. Our planet has 215,000 glaciers, but researchers used satellite data to determine up to half of them could be gone by the year 2100. That's the best case scenario. If global temperatures rise to what the United Nations is forecasting, then the United States, Central Europe, Western Canada, and New Zealand would lose almost all of their glaciers. That would be a big problem because glaciers provide fresh water to nearly 2 billion people. They also contribute to rising sea levels when they melt, which could threaten billions of people living in coastal areas. And it's 5:14 a.m. and coming up in medical news, find out how new parents in the military will soon be able to spend more time with their newborns. Plus, RSV has rocked the nation this winter. See how the FDA is working on fast-tracking a potential answer for the disease in infants. Those stories and more health news when we return.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on TV consoles, recliners, bar stools, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Get the deal of a lifetime on clearance, one-of-a-kinds, scratch and dents, and more. Stores are packed with merchandise that must go. Up to 80% off at the huge inventory reduction sale on now at Slumberland Furniture.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil, just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared, just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703 or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-898-6703. Call now.
Quite a divide in temperatures here in the northern parts of the state this morning. Temperatures in the upper teens to lower 20s here. But look at this, 10 below in Hayward this morning. Michael, do you find that a bit ridiculous with this divide?
Yeah, that is a colorful map of weather you got right there, Devin. So cold to the west. I hope that doesn't really come over and touch us anytime soon. But all right, moving right along. The U.S. military introduced new rights this week for parents in uniform. The military is doubling the amount of leave time for service members who give birth and providing leave for new parents who don't give birth. That's including those who adopt and foster children long term. The new policy gives 12 weeks of parental leave to service members who give birth. And it also provides 12 weeks of leave for non-birth or adoptive parents. Previously, only the birthing parent could take parental leave, and it was limited to 6 weeks. The FDA is ramping up its fight against RSV. The agency is currently reviewing an application for an antibody that could help prevent the respiratory virus in infants. The pharmaceutical companies behind the antibody announced Thursday that the FDA has said it will expedite its review and that if it's approved, it could be available to infants and toddlers later this year. The preventative, called Newswatch, would be the first of its kind antibody to help protect against RSV in infants in their first year of life. The respiratory virus hit hard this winter. While it can be mild for many children and most adults, studies show it's the leading cause of hospitalizations in all infants. And we're 6 days into 2023, but health experts say it's not too late to take part in two growing New Year's health trends. Having a dry or damp January can help you cut back on alcohol. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more on the health benefits and which trend may be right for you.
If the new year brings a new outlook on your relationship with alcohol, you're not alone. That's a reason many people take part in Dry January, abstaining from all alcohol. Cleveland Clinic psychiatrist Akil Annan says not drinking for even a short time can have a huge impact on health. Dry January has become increasingly popular. 2022 saw participation grow to 35%.
Our apologies for that. We're having some technical difficulties with the audio on that package. But coming up next, a furry friend might just be what the doctor ordered to shake these winter blues right off. Find out how area animal shelters are faring this season and why they're optimistic about the upcoming year. Stay with us.
Northwoods Accents, located in Mercer, features a wide variety of high-quality custom log and rustic furniture, all made in the USA. View our best craft living room sets. Handmade products from local craftsmen. Denali blankets to warm your winter. All products have year-round low prices with no sales pressure. The owner is available to assist you with any questions. Stop by Northwoods Accents, 5079 US Highway 51 in Mercer.
This winter, Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg wants you to unleash the Snow Beast. Win a 2023 Ski-Doo Renegade Enduro snowmobile with an enclosed trailer from Anago Yamaha. Then we'll send you to AJ's Walleye Lodge in the UP for 5 days and 4 nights of serious powder. Earn points, rewards, play, and entries. We'll give it away Saturday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Unleash the Snow Beast at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
Here's your Newswatch 12 Snowmobile Trail Report, brought to you by your local Northern Wisconsin and Upper Peninsula Ski-Doo dealers.
Slice of pizza, you don't buy the whole pie. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why pay for more than you need? Switch to Consumer Cellular and get unlimited talk and text with a flexible data plan starting at just $20 a month, plus the same great coverage as leading carriers for half the cost. You'll also receive 100% U.S.-based award-winning support. Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service again. Plus, AARP members get exclusive discounts. Switch today. Call, go online, or find us at Target.
At WJFW, our Newswatch 12 News team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the Northwoods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. We are NBC Newswatch 12, news from where you live.
And welcome back. Area animal shelters are seeing a steady amount of intakes and adoptions recently. During the pandemic, the United County Humane Society saw pet adoptions go into a state of flux. Sometimes there were a lot of adoptions, sometimes none at all. However, now the director of the animal shelter says it's been pretty consistent. Director Amanda Hayden has worked at the animal shelter for almost 12 years. During the pandemic, the shelter switched to appointment-only adoptions and visits, which Hayden says benefited them.
The appointments taught us a lot, just that we are better to care for the animals if we have more staff available for that and are able to take care of the customers or the people coming to look to adopt pets, give them more of our attention that way.
The Lincoln County and Marathon County Humane Societies are experiencing a similar trend in pet adoptions. Right now, the Oneida County Humane Society has around 75 to 80 animals. That's compared to an average of over 100 animals in the summer, which puts them at capacity.
You give an animal that needs a home, instead of sitting in this building. I mean, we love them and we play with them, but, you know, they do need a place to go. A lot of people have found the loves of their life at an animal shelter. I know I have.
The Humane Society also appreciates donations, which can be anything from cleaning supplies, pet food, blankets, or a monetary donation. And those were some cute animals of that Humane Society. I especially liked the little bunny rabbit. That was a cute little thing. Devin Biggs is out on the weather deck now. And Devin, have you ever had any fun pets like that? Any rabbits in your basket?
Maybe several years ago, my parents had a little rabbit for a thing several years ago. I barely remember the bunny, but I think I just remember it briefly. But otherwise, we've had cats and dogs. That's been about it. Let's get things rolling out here this morning. A little cool, snow's still on the ground, but thankfully a lot of it has backed off. We're still seeing clouds over in the Park Falls area. I'm wondering if I might be seeing a few snowflakes falling from the air. Not out of the realm of possibility. If that is happening, they're very teeny tiny. You're barely going to notice, and that'll be about all. Here we go. So the radar and satellite, or the road conditions, I should say, we'll go to that first. Looking good. Again, the roads are starting to improve as things have really started to back off. Now the radar and satellite looking pretty decent out there. Is really across the area. We're starting to calm down. We'll hold on to the clouds today, but I do believe we'll see some sunshine coming up later this afternoon. So finally things are calming down with low pressure moving off to the east. Here's the travel forecast for today. It looks a little bit like this. So a lot calmer, partly cloudy to the west. Temperatures in the teens and 20s. For us, though, will be mostly cloudy, but some peaks of sunshine at times. Temperatures in the lower 20s. Keep those sunglasses handy. Or further down toward the south, just a little bit warmer, though. We'll see temperatures in the 20s and even some 30s. A little more coming up after the break.
Here is your Newswatch 12 Ski and Board Report, brought to you by Ski Rule.
Hey, are we gonna fit? There we go.
At American Family Insurance, we're here to carefully protect your dreams.
All right, open your eyes. Welcome home. All right, we'll see you later.
Save up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto insurance today. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
American Family Insurance.
This is a special report for people who want the facts about reverse mortgages without the hype. You've seen a lot of commercials telling you how you can turn the equity in your home into tax-free cash. But do you really know if a reverse mortgage loan can help you? Call today. For a limited time only, we'll send you a free special report. Reverse mortgages, facts without the hype. Did you know that not everyone over 62 can qualify? And you can choose to receive your money monthly or in a lump sum. Call us today and get all the facts you need. You'll speak with an experienced reverse mortgage advisor who will give you honest answers to your questions and even provide a free personalized assessment. This is a big decision. Get the facts with this free special report. Reverse mortgages, facts without the hype. There's no obligation, and the call is free. So don't delay.
Call 1-800-737-5145. That's 1-800-737-5145.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. There's a saying, there's no bad weather, just bad clothing. But one man in Minnesota would rather ditch the parka and boots anyway. Jonah Kaplan has the story.
Embrace the snow,
Well, you know, I wasn't always that way. I was pretty typical Minnesotan. Bought a nice jacket, good boots. You can feel your body.
Well, Nick Fox apparently doesn't need those anymore, not when it's time to practice the Wim Hof method, a deliberate and somehow delightful exposure to the cold.
I'm not really the teacher. The breath and the cold are the teacher, and I get to guide people through it.
Fox, a former high school teacher and Iraq War veteran, first introduced to the Dutchman Wim Hof and his method after watching a documentary.
And the fact that my wife said yes to watching something with me was a sign that something special was about to happen.
Well, what happens now? Daily breathing exercises, and then a daily jaunt in the elements. Today, it's snow angels. Tomorrow, it could be a hike or a swim.
Now, to become an instructor, Nick actually spent 5 days an intensive course in a Eastern European winter in Poland. But guess what? Beginners can do this too. You know, this is my first Minnesota winter.
Among Fox's first students, his younger brother, and now swim partner at Lake Harriet.
I didn't really expect it was going to have that big of an effect, but now it's been a couple months, and I can notice that it's just like so much more like soothing.
The method may soon become a movement here. Fox's next monthly Wim Hof class at a Minneapolis yoga studio, it's already sold out. One important message: start slow and stay safe.
I tell people start with just adding 15 seconds of cold at the end of a shower. The cold is harsh, but it is righteous. You meet it on its own terms, and your body adjusts, and you dig deeper into yourself, and you feel like you have power.
Old story, but yet he still has the hat on. Like, you gotta cover the ears, gotta cover your head, and that's just a fun little twist for me. Also, you know, there's a fun saying you can, I always hear it in German, is, es gibt kein schlechtes Wetter, nur schlechtes Kleidung. No such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. But yeah, saying it, you know, to start that package out, this is the story out in English, that's a fun time. Devin Biggs is here in the Weather Center now. Devin, how many times do I usually say that in the throughout the week for bad weather and bad clothing? Too often.
Yeah, too often, right? Although I haven't heard it in German yet, so I was like, okay, who turned Michael's German mode back on?
But yes, looking forward into the week. Good weather ahead?
Yeah, we're doing better. So we're getting all the active weather out of here, but I know many can notice by our sky camera. We're still seeing a little bit of development, though, with clouds this morning. That's why a little reflection is there. The city lights are reflecting off of the clouds this morning. I was doing a quick drive last night before going to bed and noticed, though, that the city lights hitting the clouds, making it easier to see a little bit into the night here in the North Woods. But otherwise, though, so yeah, we're seeing some more of those clouds again this morning. And again, looking a little bit like this. So you have those clouds moving in and continuing to track through today. Not a lot of clouds off to the north and west, where it's a lot cooler out there. We'll explain those temperatures in just a little bit. But here we go. So the big picture, things are really starting to calm down. We have high pressure off toward the north and west, and we could see the sunshine briefly later this afternoon. Here's the temperatures, a sharp divide this morning. We had upper teens, lower 20s, even mid-20s in Wausau across the Northwoods. That's over in Hayward, though. That's 10 below, so a little bit chilly over there this morning, of course, with a clear sky and, of course, hardly any wind. But today will be mostly cloudy. Sun will come out from time to time. Temperatures today reaching for the lower 20s.
Thanks, Devin. The Eagle River Sports Arena in Vilas County has a rich history. Carrie Bladern and I went north and to explore this arena in today's version of Connecting the Dots.
Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwoods history with Carrie Bladorn.
If you've played hockey in Wisconsin, there's no doubt you're familiar with the epicenter of the sport in the Badger State, the famous Eagle River Dome. Long before the big air-inflated stadium spaces we see today, there was the Eagle River Sports Arena. Eagle River is known as the hockey capital of Wisconsin, but it had humble beginnings. In 1926, the newly formed high school team, the Icelander Wasps, were beat 33-0 by Michigan Tech, making national headlines. They learned lessons, and 1 year later, they were state champs. It was around that time that Eagle River businessman Charles F. Taylor saw a bright future for winter sports in the Northwoods, despite its dark horse start. Since northern Wisconsin relied heavily on its summer tourists in those days, Charles had a vision of building an indoor arena to bring spectators out of the weather and visitors north during the quiet part of the year. Mr. Taylor had begun building a winter sports complex at his estate called the Jack-O-Lantern Lodge, just east of Eagle River, with a ski jump, toboggan run, and hockey rink on his self-named Taylor Lake. he hoped to see Eagle River become the Lake Placid of the Midwest. He set aside 5 acres of property to build the structure that would become a mecca for hockey enthusiasts across Wisconsin. $25,000 was raised with community support through the sale of stocks, a huge sum during the Depression years. And in 1932, ground was broken at Taylor's estate, or rather, blasted, since the ground was frozen when construction started in November of that year. The arena was designed by German immigrant and architect Max Hanisch, whom after moving from Germany had an office in Racine. Max designed a number of large buildings and had been experimenting with a technique using lamella trusses. The 180 by 280 foot dome-shaped building was created by bolting lumber into an intricate interlocking diamond pattern, allowing for excellent structural integrity, an attractive appearance, and creating a cavernous space without interior supports. The Dome, as it has been nicknamed due to its sloping roofline, opened in September of 1933 and hosted its first event, a boxing match. Originally built with a dirt floor, it was intended to be used year-round for circuses, exhibitions, horse shows, and more. In the summer, a wooden floor could be laid down for roller skating, and in winter, flooded for an indoor ice rink, the first indoor ice rink in the state of Wisconsin. The building originally had windows to allow light in during hockey games, but were otherwise closed to prevent the ice from melting in the sunlight, as the Dome had no refrigeration equipment in the early days. The Dome quickly became popular, and in 1934 hosted the Wisconsin Amateur State Hockey Tournament. During World War II, with many fighting-aged men off to war, the Dome had a difficult time with little revenue to operate the arena. In 1944, it was almost demolished by a man from Clintonville who planned to use the materials. The investors tried to keep the building, but it was sold at auction in 1946 to none other than Chuck F. Taylor. Mr. Taylor revived the arena by hosting its first hockey game after the war on New Year's Day of 1947. In 1951, Taylor sold his estate, including the arena, to Alan Dorfman, owner of the American Insurance Company based in Chicago. The Dome was purchased by the Eagle River Recreation Association, headed by Mr. Eagle River, Charles Speece, in 1963. Hockey being the most popular attraction at the arena during its lifespan, a huge remodel and expansion was undertaken on the building in 1966 and 67, adding a new roof, permanent floor, a lobby, concession stand, ticket booth, bathrooms, and new locker rooms, replacing the old ones located beneath the original bleachers. Refrigerated ice was installed by 1970. In 1984, another addition was built. Naturally, it houses the Wisconsin Hockey Hall of Fame, founded in 1975. In 1992, the Dome was added to the National Registry of Historic Places for its special design and importance to the history of engineering. It is the only remaining hockey stadium with a lamella truss construction left in the country. Located 2 miles east of Eagle River on Highway 70, the arena can seat up to 2,000 spectators with unobstructed views of the rink from any seat in the house. Thousands of hockey players have had the special opportunity of stepping out onto its ice over the years. The nonprofit Eagle River Recreation Association continues to operate the Dome. It remains the pride of the area as one of the most exciting places to be in northern Wisconsin. It has been kept up over the years through continued community support and volunteer efforts. A true community icon. Eagle River residents, past and present, have countless stories and family memories that were made in the Dome, assuring that history is alive and well in Eagle River, Wisconsin. I'm Kerry Bladorn, and this has been Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwood's history on Newswatch 12.
Connecting the Dots, reliving Northwood's history with Kerry Bladorn.
Thank you for watching Connecting the Dots on WJFW. If you have any Northwoods history you'd like to see covered on this program, feel free to send me a message on my Facebook page, Kerry Bladorn, Northwoods Historian, or email me at northwoodshistorian@gmail.com.
Coming up, we have some news you can use, including troubling news from the loyal fans of Bed Bath & Beyond. Plus, find out how a Wisconsin-based motor company is entering into the world of electronic power. Those stories and more news when we return.
If you're a contractor or do-it-yourselfer, make Argonne Lumber your first stop. High-quality materials, personalized service, expert staff, and delivery are just some of the things Argonne Lumber is known for. Stop in and smell the lumber at Argonne Lumber, 2 locations in Argonne and Rhinelander.
In life, there are things that suck, but we do them anyway. Family meals with your wife's crazy Uncle Eddie suck, but we do it anyway. Because the memories that we make with family are everything. Family photo sessions with matching outfits suck, but we do it anyway. Because finding those photos years from now will make you laugh and cry. And you know what else really sucks? Getting screened for cancer, but not as much as letting things go undetected or untreated. So do it anyway. Screening can save your life from cancer, or even help prevent certain types of cancer, which will give you even more years of doing things that don't suck. For more information, visit GetScreenedForCancer.org today.
Mammogram, colonoscopy, pap test. You need to go screen for cancer.
At WJFW, our Newswatch 12 News team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the Northwoods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important stories from around the globe, local and national sports updates, and weather reports. We are NBC Newswatch 12, news from where you live. The Northwoods provides plenty of beauty year-round, and the weather events that develop can produce some amazing photos. Submit yours online at WJFW's weather photo section on the website to share with the WJFW weather team.
And welcome back. Here we are on this Friday morning, almost to the weekend. And for now, we're seeing some clouds that are moving in this morning. You can see kind of the reflection of the city lights of Minocqua off the clouds there. So not a lot of sunshine to start, but maybe this afternoon we might see that change just a little bit. But for now, though, here's the general idea. We're seeing some clouds that are still developing this morning. It's definitely a lot colder in northwestern parts of the state. We'll show you those current temperatures in a bit. Some of these clouds aren't showing up because it's hard for the infrared satellite to see some of the clouds sometimes that are not quite jumping out, for lack of a better term. But otherwise, though, we're going to be seeing high pressure moving in, pushing these clouds out of here as the day progresses on. So we'll get to enjoy some sunshine later on, mixed in with the clouds at times, too. So keep those sunglasses handy. Futurecast looks like this. So, yeah, clouds kind of moving through from time to time. A few breaks in those clouds as we head towards the afternoon period. Where you see tonight might be a few clouds mixed in, but also some fog that will also be developing as well. So definitely keep that in mind if you are traveling overnight, to be ready for a little bit of fog. And, of course, it could be freezing fog, too, with those cool temperatures. But look what happens by Saturday. A lot of sunshine and a few passing clouds, so definitely have the sunglasses ready to go as we head towards your Saturday, so that's going to be very enjoyable. Then this could be a little bit more fog developing yet again with maybe a few passing clouds in a few spots. So here we go, though. The wind's not bad out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, making it feel just a tad bit cooler out there. The wind's not a huge deal at all, at least through today. Not bad at all. Maybe a few gusts at 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour. And these are the gusts, actually. So we're looking pretty relaxed out there in the wind department today. But temperatures all over the place, right? We're in the upper teens to lower 20s here in most of the viewing area. Even 24 degrees over in the Wausau area. But look at Hayward, areas to the north and west where the skies have cleared out somewhat for a brief amount of time. And, of course, the wind is calm there, too. That's why temperatures in Hayward and other spots are below zero this morning. We won't see below zero temperatures. We'll warm up pretty nicely. Our average high being 23 degrees. We'll reach for the lower 20s today, with the middle 20s returning for the weekend, upper 20s for your Monday, and the mid-20s again Tuesday and Wednesday, upper 20s returning again just in time for your Thursday. And of course, all these temperatures in mind, though, keep in mind with the ice thickness, most lakes are around a foot or so, so vehicles can be out there. However, still just make sure to be careful. Check the ice thickness before heading out of the lake, and just know the limits of your car. We don't need anyone getting stuck or falling through the ice in general, because any ice, I mean, most of the ice can be good, but otherwise, you just got to be careful, because you never know when you might have a chance of falling through with some bad ice in a few spots. But 20 degrees today, mostly cloudy. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. As for tonight, here we go. 4 degrees, partly cloudy. Areas of dense fog developing. Be ready for that. And of course, with cool temperatures like this, could be freezing fog too, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. And then Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast looks a little bit like this. Look at this. A lot of nice days on the way. Temperatures in the 20s. Partly cloudy skies just in time for the weekend. More clouds by Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures in the middle to upper 20s. Slight chances for snow on the way as we head towards Wednesday and a Thursday. Michael?
You might want to use the 20% off Bed Bath & Beyond coupon soon. The company admitted Thursday in a regulatory filing it probably won't be able to continue operating as is. The filing says the chain is exploring possibilities and a bankruptcy filing is among them. That goes along with what analysis have been predicting for some time. Bed Bath & Beyond stock plunged more than 20% Thursday, landing it below $2 per share. It's never been that low before. The company operates about 950 stores and employs 32,000 workers. A bankruptcy filing wouldn't necessarily mean the chain would close its stores. Some retailers recognize without noticeable change to shoppers or scale back their inventory that is available. Well, Tesla did it again, and so did Harley-Davidson. Now, one of the largest makers of boat engines in Wisconsin has an electric motor. Fond du Lac-based Mercury Marine is showcasing the motor at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. Sarah McGrew from our Milwaukee affiliate has the report.
With more than 15,000 lakes across the Badger State, there's plenty of opportunity to spend a day out on the water, at least when it's not ice covered. So it makes perfect sense that a leading manufacturer of recreational marine propulsion engines is based in Fond du Lac, Mercury Marine.
We do lots of things in the company for sustainability. It's obviously one of our core values and one thing that we take very seriously.
Now they're taking it a step further with the launch of the company's first electric engine, the Avator 7.5e.
The cradle to grave mentality of what do you do with these things when they're done, and the recyclability and, you know, the reuse, the repurpose, all of that stuff. During the creation, you obviously have emissions or whatever, but after that, it's basically the electricity used, which is much less. And for sure, the footprint of it is definitely smaller.
Andrew Prisbel is the technical manager for the Avator program. He's showcasing the new motor at the Consumer Electric Show in Las Vegas, which is considered to be one of the most influential tech events in the world.
We've had this thing on tiny little inflatables to 16, 17-foot aluminum fishing boats to these little smaller inflatable runabouts, the hard bottom ribs.
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, marine engines are the highest contributors of hydrocarbons and oxides of nitrogen emissions in many areas across the country. Those emissions can lead to health problems like asthma, lung inflammation, and chest pains. Prisbel says the electric engines also cut back on noise pollution.
You can enjoy boating without the noise and without, you know, just we're having to worry about the thing starting and it's all gone. It's just so easy to use. You click in the battery, you hit a button, then you go.
The Avator motors are being assembled right here in Wisconsin, and Mercury Marine employs about 45,000 people.
And coming up at 6, blood drives are an essential part of helping out your community, and Tomahawk is no exception. See how students at THS came together to restart their blood drive post-pandemic.
Uh-oh. Did your holiday hosting create a couple extra stains in your carpet? Or do you just need an update for your old flooring? Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and start your year off right with free carpet installation. That's right, free carpet installation. If money is a little tight, Carpet City Flooring Center can help make your project affordable with interest-free financing. Get your free carpet installation today.
Carpet City, our prices will floor you.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable granite stone finish. Granite stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared, just like the pros. And because granite stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your granite stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a granite stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all at incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-898-6703. That's 1-800-898-6703, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-898-6703. Call now.
And welcome back. How close are you to your dog? Well, here's something that the two of you can do together. Try out a skijoring class through Nicolay College at Minocqua Winter Park today. Skijoring is really a partnership between you and your dog, with the dog learning how to pull you through the woods and you assisting the effort with proper skiing technique. The afternoon begins with a skate skiing class for the humans, and then you'll bring your dog in and learn the basics of skijoring. The class runs from noon to 4 p.m. today, and tickets are still available for $50 a piece. Visit nicolaycollege.edu to get yours now. And skijoring, what an interesting sort of sport we got around here in the Northwoods. Perfect for all the snow and, getting out there and active with your dog as well. I know Devin's out on the weather deck right now. Devin, any room for dogs out there?
Oh, there's plenty of room out here. I mean, heck, we got Bug Zero right here, too. So that's enjoying the snow out here at this point. Perfect touch of the Northwoods as well. So we got plenty of space here on this weather deck for animals out here. But otherwise, as we take a look outside this morning over in Minocqua, of course, you can see some of the clouds some of the light reflecting off of the clouds this morning. This is the city lights doing its thing there. But the road conditions are good this morning. So if you're going to be traveling out there, I mean, there's a lot of green on this map here. And I think most of those isolated areas are pink. Probably, it's safe to say most of those roads should be okay as well. So for those traveling today, we should be fine getting to work or school. Here we go with your radar and satellite. We're looking pretty decent out there, and we're still seeing some clouds moving through today. Sunshine may try to peek out later this afternoon, so keep those sunglasses ready to go. Here's the travel forecast moving forward today. Temperatures in the teens across the western parts of the state with a partly cloudy sky. For us, though, lower 20s, not much warmer. Mostly cloudy, but peaks of sunshine later this afternoon. And further down to the south, a lot warmer, 20s and 30s. On the way. A little more coming up after the break.
Hey CoverGirls, let's be simply ageless with America's #1 anti-aging foundation and the Triple Action Concealer to conceal, depuff, and care. And try Simply Ageless Lash Plumping Mascara. Simply Ageless from CoverGirl.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. Lately, we haven't been moving enough. An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. This is a health crisis, and the solution is in our hands and our feet. It's on our shoulders. It's on our backs. It's in our souls. It's time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
Attention homeowners. Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Is the bank threatening to take your home? Is your home worth less than you owe? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you need to call this number right now. It won't cost you anything to find out if we can help you. We are the Mortgage Defense Line, and we can help you save your home. Don't wait. Call right now.
Call 1-800-970-8640. That's 1-800-970-8640.
Discover what's trending in the North Woods on Up North at 4 with Nate Myhawk and Jeff Weller. Local conversations about what it means to live, work, and play up north. Weekdays at 4. Newswatch 12 Today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
A well-known volcano is putting on a show in Hawaii. The Kilauea volcano is erupting again. This is a photo of the eruption taken from the U.S. Geological Survey's webcam. And Thursday, its Hawaiian Volcano Observatory detected a glow in a volcano's summit. And officials say the eruption is currently confined to a large crater and poses no hazard to communities. And the eruption is happening in a closed area of the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. So kind of interesting to see more activity. I know they've had what you know as fissures, right? Those little cracks that happen in the ground and get the lava coming out. So definitely very interesting to see the behavior of volcanoes, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess this one won't be making another island in the Hawaii area.
Yeah, I doubt it, but this is a hot spot, though, that goes on with, that's how Hawaii has been formed. It's a hot spot. So as the Earth moves and the tectonic plates keep shifting, though, I mean, it's going to keep pushing up and keep creating land over time. So I guess technically, yes, it's creating new land, but just not very obviously.
Exactly. It's a slow push right now.
It is a slow push. So obviously, if we stare at it, nothing's really going to happen.
Yeah. That's kind of like boiling water at home on the stove. If you stare at it, it just never seems to boil. But as soon as you put the lid on and turn your head, you look back and there it is.
It's boiling over.
It's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good situation.
Devin, have you ever been to a volcano?
I have not been to a volcano. Have you?
No, I have not. But that'd be certainly something to visit, especially as a weatherman. I feel like this would be like the moment for you to take a peek in.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I definitely want to make sure I have the protective gear for that, too, because lava, stating the obvious here, is rather hot because that's molten rock right there.
So sunglasses and maybe some winter gloves?
Yeah, totally. We'll be fine with that, right?
There you go. So you're already ready.
Yeah, and some snow. Well, let's get some snow going. We'll be good.
That reminds me of a little bit of weather locally then.
Yeah, we do have some good local weather going on here. Here's a look of Minocqua right now, and overall, we're looking pretty decent out there. Things are looking pretty quiet. Roads are pretty much good out there. And look how quiet this map is, Michael. It's been a bit since we've had a nice quiet map like this. And the next few days is going to be pretty quiet, too. So if you're a fan of sunshine, you might see some of that coming out later this afternoon with even more on the way for the weekend. So excellent weather for the snowmobilers. I know the trails are a little beaten up, so definitely be careful with some of those rough edges there. Or ice fishing, should be some good weather for ice fishing as well. And all the winter weather activities that goes on here in the North Woods will be mostly cloudy today, more sunshine possibly this afternoon. Then maybe a few clouds and some fog later on tonight. The fog will burn off by sunrise. Some clouds and a lot of sunshine throughout the day for you Saturday, so a lot of good things to look forward to. Next 3 days moving forward again, so looking really good. Partly cloudy Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the mid-20s, so starting today, have those sunglasses ready. A little more coming up after the break.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on recliners, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Slumberland Furniture.
Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house, has the freshest specialty coffee and tea in the Northwoods. Our coffee comes from choice Arabica beans, hand-blended and roasted on-premise for the finest specialty drinks. Fresh bakery, breakfast, and lunch served daily, our comfortable coffee house is the perfect place for meeting friends or groups. The drive-thru is also open daily. Treat yourself with a great cup of coffee or take some beans to brew at home, fresh from Eagle River Roasters, your Northwoods coffee roaster and community coffee house.
Consumer Cellular has the best customer service.
They care about the customer.
The best price with the best quality.
The prices, the coverage.
The coverage is great.
It was the same, if not better.
Consumer Cellular provides the exact same premium coverage as the nation's leading carriers for half the cost. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get talk, text, and data starting at just $20 a month.
It's like 4 scoops of ice cream for the price of 1.
Switch today and get a 100% risk-free guarantee. Call or go online.
Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River, locally owned and operated for over 2 decades. With over 40 years of combined quality sales and service experience, we can help you find the right floor for your lifestyle and budget.
Bam! My accident happened in a second.
My settlement? That's taking a really long time.
If you've been injured in an accident and need money now while your case settles,
Call Oasis today. We'll work with your attorney, and if you're approved, get you $500 to $100,000 in as little as 24 hours. If you lose your case, you don't have to pay Oasis back, ever. Applying for Oasis Express Cash is easy and takes 3 minutes. Call Oasis now or go online to apply.
Discover what's trending in the North Woods on Up North at 4 with Nate Myhawk and Jeff Weller. Local conversations about what it means to live, work, and play up north. Weekdays at 4. You're watching NBC 12 from where you live.
Up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of merchandise must go. Lowest prices around on mattresses, rugs, bar stools, sectionals, accent chairs, and more at Slumberland Furniture.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, we'll break down for you what a flat tax is and why it matters to Wisconsinites. Plus,
alrighty, we're waking up to some clouds this morning, but could the sun possibly peek out? Your full forecast is coming up.
And find out how area students are organizing a local blood drive to help their community. It's Friday, January 6th.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michael Lodeholtz. Jackie is off. This past election cycle, though, Republican candidate for Governor Tim Michels proposed to a flat tax plan for the state of Wisconsin. Michels lost his race against Democrat Governor Tony Evers, but there are still Republicans who hope to create legislation to change tax rates for Wisconsinites. Newswatch 12's Kyle Pazorski spoke to lawmakers about what this tax rate change could mean.
I'm very much in favor of a flat tax.
You're basically taking, billionaires and treating them the same as people.
Does it have any traction? Doesn't sound like it does with the governor's office.
North Central Wisconsin legislators are split on the idea of a state flat tax, and those differences may even extend beyond party lines.
Will it happen within the caucus? We haven't had that discussion yet.
If a flat tax was passed by the legislator and signed by Governor Evers, it could be a significant piece of bipartisan work.
And I think what we need to do if we're going to look at property tax relief or at income tax relief is to actually target it towards the middle class.
Right now, Wisconsin has a graduated individual income tax with rates beginning at 3.5% and going as high as 7.6%. A flat tax would make it the same across all income levels. Other Midwest states of Michigan and Illinois have flat taxes at 4.2 and 4.9 respectively. Stevens Point Assemblywoman Katrina Shanklin says this model in Wisconsin would harm low-level earners.
I strongly support targeting our tax relief, so that way we're supporting those who not only are working hard every day, but making sure that they have the opportunity to get food on the table.
However, State Senator Mary Felskowski of Tomahawk does think a flat tax would be better than the graduated income tax.
Let's be really honest here. You have mom and dad, let's say they're making $90,000 a year. They've got 2 kids. They've got their mortgage, and so they have their interest in income and everything else. How much tax are they really paying? Very close to nothing, So a flat tax doesn't hurt.
Republican leaders in Madison have expressed their support for a 3.5% flat tax. However, it is unclear now if anything will come in this legislative session. Reporting for Newswatch 12, I'm Kyle Pazorski.
And taking a look over at weather, it was a little chilly this morning. A little bit of ice on the windshield I had to scrape off, but luckily I got a new window scraper, and Devin's joining us now in the Weather Center. Devin, earlier in the week, my window scraper, it broke because of all the ice out there.
You just earned another stretch of your Wisconsin stripes by breaking an ice scraper. Is that the first time you've done it?
I actually have never broken an ice scraper in my entire life growing up here.
So there you go.
So this week must have not been great.
So here's my slow clap for you today for breaking an ice scraper.
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Wisconsin weather can always be rather interesting, right? Well, over in Stevens Point, good morning, Stevens Point. We're seeing some snow on the ground. The campus looking pretty good. The walkways are pretty cleared out this morning. For those heading out the door, I don't think college is back in session yet. I believe they resume later this month. Otherwise, so let's get things rolling out there this morning. And again, we're seeing some clouds showing up on here. This is the infrared satellite, so I bet you these clouds are showing up because it's really cold over in northwestern Wisconsin this morning. But as we do zoom things out. High pressure not too far away. It's going to be moving in our direction, so the clouds will start to break up later this afternoon. We're not going to get rid of them completely. I do believe sunshine will be possible later this afternoon as the system continues to move away. But here we go. Temperatures, upper teens in some areas this morning, lower 20s to the south. But yeah, I'm sure this draws your attention closely. 8 below in Hayward, 3 below in Ashland. Clearer skies and calm winds. That will allow temperatures to cool off in a hurry. But your forecast for today, it's cooler, but not terrible. Lower 20s on the way. Probably good for firming up the ice on area lakes with a mostly cloudy skies. So get outside and enjoy the day.
Thanks, Devin. On Thursday, Tomahawk area students learned a little bit about saving lives with their community project. 2 FCCLA members planned Thursday's Tomahawk High School blood drive. FCCLA gives students an opportunity to make a difference in their communities through service projects.
We felt that it was a great community service project to try and get high school students involved with donating blood. So in the future, they can continue to donate blood.
This is the first blood drive at the high school since 2020, where they collected 14 units of blood then. This year's goal was to collect 35 units. 43 people pre-registered for the blood drive, which just goes to show how much enthusiasm there is in the community to participate.
All our students do amazing projects to make a difference for others and make an impact, and they're very excited to get their projects implemented and get ready to go compete at regionals.
These students wanted to make sure to thank the businesses and organizations who donated to make the event possible, and also remind people there is always a need for blood. To find out more information about upcoming blood drives, go to redcross.org. And it's 6:04 a.m. Up next on Newswatch 12 today, your local area sports are back at it, along with Saul Meyer in coverage. Find out the results of the Hodag hockey team's first game of 2023 and more games from around the Northwoods. Stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes.
Bolger Cremation and Funeral Services in Woodruff.
This winter, Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg wants you to unleash the Snow Beast. Win a 2023 Ski-Doo Renegade Enduro snowmobile with an enclosed trailer from Anago Yamaha. Then we'll send you to AJ's Walleye Lodge in the UP for 5 days and 4 nights of serious powder. Earn points, rewards, play, and entries. We'll give it away Saturday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Unleash the Snow Beast at Ho-Chunk Gaming Wittenberg.
With 6 crunchy beef tacos plus a pound of potato olays, our 6-pack in a pound is perfect for date night, movie night, 1,000-piece puzzle night, camping, tailgates, or any day that ends in Y.
Get $2 off the 6-pack in a pound, only from Taco John's.
Hey there, I'm Lance Bass, and this is Chip. For more than 100 years, American Humane has been on the front lines protecting animals in times of crisis. From Pearl Harbor to 9/11, the California wildfires, and the coronavirus pandemic, American Humane Rescue has provided life-saving assistance for animals in virtually every major national disaster. If you're anything like me, your pets mean the world to you. And if disaster strikes, you want to keep them safe. To prepare for an oncoming disaster, ensure your pet has secure and up-to-date identification. And if you must evacuate, remember to take your disaster preparedness kit with you. To learn more about disaster planning and how to keep your best friends safe, please visit AmericanHumane.org.
Our Newswatch 12 News team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most to the Northwoods. NBC Newswatch 12, from where you live.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out there this morning. And overall in Stevens Point, looking pretty good. The pathways are clear. Not too much going on at this point. The snow on the ground is going to be sticking around with temperatures that are below freezing and will stay there for a while. We have some clouds that are developing this morning. Hard for the infrared satellite to pick some of this up. We're seeing a little bit of it in the northwestern parts of the state because it's actually rather chilly over there this morning. We'll show you those temperatures coming up in just a little bit. Here's high pressure right about in here, just off toward the north and west. It's going to be moving in our direction as these fronts continue to track off towards the east. So things finally starting to calm down in our backyard. There's more activity off toward the west with more active weather, some rain and some snow and gusty winds as well. We're going to stay calm for the next several days, and even some sunshine returning just in time for the weekend. Even later this afternoon cannot be ruled out either. Mostly cloudy for most of today, but notice this afternoon the clouds start to break up a bit, so sunshine can't be ruled out before we become partly cloudy tonight with areas of dense fog, and then a lot of sunshine away for you Saturday with a few passing clouds. So definitely starting today, keep those sunglasses handy. You'll definitely need them as you head out the door. But even as we head towards Saturday night and parts of Sunday, partly cloudy again, maybe mostly clear in a few spots, but all this right here will be areas of dense fog that could develop yet again. So here's the wind right here out of the northwest at about 5, maybe up to 10 miles per hour in a few spots. Just a light breeze out there overall. It's calm off toward the north and west, and that's in play for the cooler temperatures in those areas. And the wind gusts, not too bad. The winds will be rather relaxed for the next several hours, if not for the next day or so, with about a 5 to 10 mile per hour gust at best. And that'll be about all. So the winds are going to be behaving themselves as we do move forward. But temperatures right now, middle to upper teens here in the Northwoods, lower 20s in Antigo, 19 degrees in Merrill, 23 degrees in Wausau. But yeah, your eyes go to here right away, right? 8 below in Hayward, 3 below in Ashland, and 6 below over in Superior. And this is courtesy of clearer skies and calmer winds. But yeah, even though some clouds are moving in now, cleared out briefly to allow temperatures to really cool off, but they will warm up today as well. As our average high is 23 degrees, we'll reach the lower 20s today, so a little bit cooler, but not terrible, right? Middle 20s for the weekend, upper 20s for your Monday, back in the mid-20s Tuesday into Wednesday, and back in the upper 20s again Thursday. So we're below freezing the next several days, so whatever's on the ground now with snow and ice not going anywhere anytime soon, except for maybe some melting courtesy of the sun. But again, speaking of all this temperature changes, ice thickness overall okay. About a foot or so of ice is what people have been telling me. So that should be good for vehicles. I've seen a lot of vehicles out on the ice. Just make sure to keep checking that ice just to make sure it's safe to go for your vehicles. So that way nothing unfortunate happens. But your forecast for today, lower 20s, mostly cloudy. Northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour only. But for tonight, 4 degrees, partly cloudy. Areas of dense fog, could be freezing fog as well with temperatures this cold and the wind overall looking nice and calm. And that Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast, so we're dry through the weekend, partly cloudy. Temperatures in the mid-20s, upper 20s for your Monday with a mostly cloudy sky. We're mid-20s Tuesday with a mostly cloudy sky. Slight chances of snow back in the forecast Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures reasonable for this time of the year. Michael?
Thanks, Devin. Yesterday was a busy day for local sports here in the Northwoods, but with all the excitement, there was one piece of news that maybe not everyone will be excited about. Newswatch 12's Saul Meyer has the story.
Northland Pines High School announced yesterday that they will only field a JV football team this year. According to a press release, the decision is due to low numbers of upperclassmen, but the plan is to return to a varsity schedule in 2024. 2 years ago, Pines ended their season early because of low numbers and injuries. The Hodag hockey team has been on a tear lately, and a 4-1 win against Marshfield ended 2022 on a high note for Rhinelander. Their first game of 2023 was a big one, taking on Great Northern Conference opponent Medford at home. Let's see if the Hodags were able to keep the momentum going into 2023. The Hodags, or Hornets for the night, paid homage to their past with the purple and gold sweaters. Here in the second, it was Medford who struck gold. Connor Gowie is able to sneak this one past the goalie to get the only goal of the second period for either team. I say that because both teams were able to score 10 goals in the first and third periods. Rhinelander was able to keep attacking the net, getting closer and closer, but no cigar in the second period for the Hodags. That didn't matter, though, as the barrage of scoring for the Hodags were able to give them the 8-3 win over Medford. Let's move on to Crandon, where it's senior night for the Cardinals in their home game against Elko. Here in the second half, Emily Moore is driving to the basket. She takes some contact, but is able to gather herself for the tough bucket. Good ball movement from Crandon here, utilizing that triangle offense as Mila Master misses the corner three, but Mara Stamper is there for the board and bucket. But check out their defense. Holly Palubiki gets the steal here and the fast break layup for two. Crandon was doing it all on defense and offense. Madeline Erdman gets the ball on the inbounds and drains this three ball as Crandon runs away with this one 57-15. Speaking of teams from Rhinelander that have been dominant all of 2022 and looking to carry their winning ways into 2023, the boys swimming team hosted a double duel yesterday against Lakeland Union and Anago. Rhinelander has been dominant all season long with multiple wins and broken records. Now that postseason's starting to come up, the Hodags are looking to make a run at state just like the girls team did last fall. Well, they seem to be trending in that direction with Rhinelander winning this meet big. 122-22 against Lakeland Union and 123-36 against Anago. The Hodags will be back in the pool this Saturday for an invitational meet in Schwabenen. Wrestlers from across the Northwoods gathered at Rhinelander High School yesterday to compete in a Clash of the Great Northern Conference. The meet was a two-round quad meet with Medford, Mosinee, Rhinelander, and Tomahawk participating. In the first round, Mosinee took on Tomahawk with the Hatchets pulling away from Mosinee to finish 53-30. On the other side of the mat, Medford controlled Rhinelander to win 70-12. On to the second round, and Medford would have control the whole way, ending with the score of 63-18 over Tomahawk. And in the closest match of the night, Mosinee would narrowly edge out Rhinelander and end up winning 36-30. Back to y'all, morning crew.
And coming up, we have what's trending, including a new color-changing car for all those looking for something not too mainstream. Plus, see how one family is thankful for a last-minute rescue from rising waters. Those stories up next in What's Trending.
Protect your house.
We're gonna do it!
And your car.
We need to keep our energy up. I want you to take me to Funky Town.
Because we know they're the launching pad to their dreams. And now you can save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
I sense an evil, dark presence among us.
Yeah, she's standing right next to you.
Spirits are high with Cheech Marin and Rita Moreno.
Are you my Grandma Dolores?
No, I'm Beetlejuice.
An all-new Lopez versus Lopez tonight on NBC.
Running the show takes everything you got. How would you like to be a part of something special?
Baby oil, baby powder, and beer.
Get wet, get dry, get loaded.
New Young Rock tonight on NBC.
You can get any phone you want.
Anyone I want?
Any phone you want.
Connection is the greatest gift of all. At U.S. Cellular, we're offering any phone free for new and current customers.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. Lately, we haven't been moving enough. An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. This is a health crisis, and the solution is in our hands and our feet. It's on our shoulders. It's on our backs. It's in our souls. It's time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
And welcome back at 6:16 a.m. And BMW has unveiled a new concept car that changes color. Ooh. It is one of two concept cars the auto giant showcased at the Consumer Electronics Show. The Viston, well, they're both called with the I, Vision D concept. The D, spelled D-E-E, stands for Digital Emotional Experience. That's quite
interesting.
That's an odd name for a car. I guess it's an emotional experience. The color-changing model can go through a full palette of colors with different parts of the car body showing different colors all at once, including the wheels. The other eye, Vision D, has a futuristic suite of user interface ideas. The area around the headlights and the grille can show different shapes and hues, simulating expressions for different moods or reactions. The interior heads-up display stretches the length of the windshield and uses projected images, which can also be projected onto the side windows. BMW plans to use the feature in production starting in 2025. Huh.
Wow. And that lower third on that story was perfect. Chameleon, because that was what I thought of right away, right before. I'm like, oh, chameleon. It's right in our little caption lower third there.
Well, thank you. Yes. It's but it kind of reminds me of the movie Cars. Like when the grill can change, and they said they can make faces kind of with like the headlights and stuff. Like, you've seen the movie Cars, right?
Of course.
Of course. Great movie.
The first movie for sure. Second and third ones I've seen bits and pieces of. I've never sat down and watched it all the way through, though. Obviously, some interesting adventures with those movies, too.
Absolutely, for sure. But it's interesting BMW's doing this, and I assume it's probably, you know, all electric, as they were saying. And
probably all electric, probably stupid expensive. I mean, because you hear all the debates, though, and forgive me if this gets some people polarized. The batteries, oh my gosh. So I see people posting on Facebook like thousands of dollars for just a battery.
Goodness gracious, that's a that's a pricey little piece of technology right there.
Yeah, I mean, I know my personal opinion. You might be able to get me to go to a hybrid, but I'm definitely not ready to give up gas vehicles just yet because I just don't feel our technology's at that point yet to where we can just go just electric.
Okay, Mr. Technology Man, Devin.
so here's my
so when I have questions about batteries and electric cars, coming to you. Absolutely. All right, Devin. So what's up?
Oh yeah. That's right. We have another story to do. So. Oh goodness. You remember bomb cyclone, right?
I do. We talked about bomb cyclones, polar vortexes, all of the big weather.
Okay.
words.
Pop quiz for you before we go into the story. Another name for bomb cyclone is.
Isn't it a polar vortex?
No, that's a whole totally different thing.
I have no idea.
Bombogenesis.
Oh, bombogenesis. Boy.
Which is definitely the rapid development of the system. But let's get into the story here. A bomb cyclone is slamming northern and central California with flooding, mudslides, and power outages. We've heard about that, right?
Yep.
A family in Hercules, California found themselves trapped in the flooding Wednesday when they drove off the highway and into the rising water from a flooded creek. Yeah, that's scary. And their car stalled out stalled out about 30 feet from dry land. The current was so swift the father and two girls climbed onto the roof of their car, and fire crews were able to reach them using a ladder truck. And thankfully, no one was injured in the ordeal. So definitely a little bit more fanfare than I'm sure they wanted, but our rescue workers in action there, and we're thankful for them near and far, whether they're here at home serving us or whether it's by firefighters or police or emergency medical workers, and obviously those overseas, too, that serve our country. So we're thankful for those men and women in uniform.
Absolutely. That was amazing footage of they got the ladder going right over the swift currents, getting the people climbing. It was that's a daring rescue right there.
It is very daring, but definitely more. I've seen it a few times, though, on TV from this, and obviously something that's used for fire trucks or for fires can be used for other ways to rescue as well.
That's nice. And 30 feet from safety, but 30 feet of dangerous trekking right there.
For sure, right?
But we're going to trek right along to a zoo in western Kentucky, and it's hopping into the new year with a whole new pack of baby kangaroos. That's adorable. Kentucky Down Under Adventure Zoo has broken its record for the most baby kangaroos born in a single season. Despite still being in the nursing stage, these little ones are already quite active. The smaller joeys, as they're called, stayed snuggled up in their mother's pouches. The cute kangas love to meet new visitors, especially children who can't get enough of the cuddly creatures. Some people don't realize that they make better pets than cats or dogs because they're always happy to see you.
Oh, goodness gracious. We got puns going on here.
Oh, so happy to see you. That's what we could hop into the newsroom, you know, when we show up in the morning, Devin.
Right.
So happy.
So happy, right? And you know what? I'm sure those joeys are chronically causing trouble.
Oh my gosh.
Please tell me you picked that up.
Yes,
right?
I got it. We have a tech man behind the scenes, Joey Chronic.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
He's one of our engineers who also works hard. Shout out our engineers too. They continue to work hard every day as well.
Oh goodness.
But yeah, it's back to the animals here though.
They're adorable.
They're
and
adorable.
I'm just so glad that kangaroos are thriving in Western Kentucky. I guess you can go down there and see them yourself as well if you are in the area.
Yeah, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind some dad jokes either.
They would not mind dad jokes. I'm sure they're very happy to hear them, Devin.
Right, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind a forecast too. Let's get into that 3-day forecast real quick. Partly cloudy for the weekend. Get those sunglasses ready. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on TV consoles, recliners, bar stools, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Get the deal of a lifetime on clearance, one-of-a-kinds, scratch and dents, and more. Stores are packed with merchandise that must go. Up to 80% off at the huge inventory reduction sale on now at Slumberland Furniture.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on? Sure. It's wireless. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password? It's Buick Envision. That's a really tight spot. I used to hate parallel parking. Me too.
The Buick Envision, built around you, all of you.
Get 3.9% APR and no monthly payments for 90 days on Buick SUV models.
Stay on top of breaking news and the biggest stories of the day with NBC News Daily. Get in-depth reporting from across the country and around the world, tips to take care of your health and your wallet, and up-to-the-minute local news. NBC News Daily, weekdays on NBC.
Hey CoverGirls, let's be simply ageless with America's #1 anti-aging foundation and the Triple Action Concealer to conceal, depuff, and care. And try Simply Ageless Lash Plumping Mascara. Simply Ageless from CoverGirl.
From the moments that shape our lives to those that shape our days, broadcasters are there, delivering the most trusted news that keeps you informed when it matters. We are your neighbors, a trusted voice, a lifeline. We are broadcasters. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
And welcome back, folks. If you are itching to get out on your snowmobile, here's some news you will love to hear. The Northern Unit, or Zone A, of the Langlade County Snowmobile Trail System is scheduled to open tomorrow at 6 a.m. There are just 2 small segments of the zone which will remain closed between intersections 49 and 58, and between intersections 21B and 22B. The northern part of the Langlade trails were delayed in opening due to ice storms before the holidays, but the trail clubs have been working hard to get them open for you now. And certainly nice to see the snowmobile trails opening up, even with we had a little bit of warm weather and it was, a little bit of tumultuous stuff, but thankfully the snow is packed well enough. The clubs have been working hard and we're getting out there, kind of out there like Devin Biggs on the weather deck. Devin, how's it looking out there?
Looking pretty good out here. I know the snowmobile clubs have been working very hard, especially up in the UP as well. They've been busy with a lot of grooming from the lake effect snow and lake enhanced snow, whatever else that's been developing as well. But meanwhile, out here, plenty of snow on the ground. Should be decent for some of those snowmobile trails. Maybe a few rough spots, so be careful with that as well. They've been getting a lot of use. But over in Stevens Point, overall looking pretty good out there. Some snow on the ground at this point. Things looking pretty good road and sidewalk-wise. But the road conditions also looking pretty good. A lot of green on the map here. Maybe some select areas of pink where maybe a few isolated slippery spots cannot be ruled out. But overall, we're looking pretty good moving forward across the state. Radar and satellite showing these clouds currently developing this morning. And we're going to keep it going for most of the day, but we should get a break somewhat this afternoon as we'll get some of those breaks and the clouds to develop. But your travel forecast looks like this. A lot better, right? Teens and 20s across the western parts of the state, becoming partly cloudy later on for us. So mostly cloudy, but becoming more in the way of less clouds. So we'll have a mixture of clouds and sun overall, while further down toward the south, not as bad temperatures in the 20s and 30s. A little more coming up after the break.
For
For a new countertop, make your selection at Creative Granite's Indoor Warehouse of Minocqua. From 50 colors of granite and quartz. Work with a crew that will stay with you from measuring and fabrication to final installation. Call or stop by Creative Granite today.
The Diocese of La Crosse televised Mass, Sundays at 6:30 a.m. on this station. Please join Bishop Callahan and the priests and faithful of the diocese Sunday mornings at 6:30 a.m.
It starts as a kitchen built for right now and grows with you as life changes. Clearview Cabinetry is flexible by design, so you can go from doors to drawers for storage that works at every stage. And the style is so easy to update, you can do it in a snap, meaning you don't have to remodel your space to make it work even better. Because it's not just a kitchen, it's the center of your universe. Clearview Cabinetry, available exclusively at Menards.
When we walk, when we reach, when we play, we're moving through life. Lately, we haven't been moving enough. An estimated 80% of Americans aren't getting their recommended daily physical activity. This is a health crisis, and the solution is in our hands and our feet. It's on our shoulders. It's on our backs. It's in our souls. It's time to move and keep moving, America. Wherever you are, however you can. Movement reduces your risk of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. It improves your brain function, pain management, and immune system. And when you need help, physical therapists and physical therapist assistants are by your side, increasing your strength and mobility and improving your quality of life through prescribed exercise and teamwork. Because we are meant to climb, to dance, to soar, to thrive. Choose to move. Choose physical therapy.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call now.
And I think that we really need to engage on that to try to make it a little bit more easier for some of the folks maybe to start a daycare center or maybe help them in their in-home licensed daycare centers.
Right now on Newswatch 12 today, with a new state government now seated, find out the most important issues for each side moving forward. Plus,
after some precipitation the last few days, we're finally starting to calm down, but when will these clouds get out of here? Your full forecast is coming up.
And see how some area firefighting programs are getting some extra assistance thanks to a new grant. It's Friday, January 6th.
Newswatch 12 today with Michael Lodeholtz and Devin Biggs.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on Newswatch 12 today. A chilly morning for those of you waking up with us here at 6:29 a.m. And Devin Biggs is in the Weather Center. Devin, a sort of icy morning. I mean, it was a little bit stuck on my windshield this morning. Not the worst this week, though.
No, yeah, I know we had some drizzle and snow recently, too, so you're probably clearing the last of that off this morning. So, yeah, for those heading out the door, you may have to deal with that in a few areas. But overall, over in Park Falls, not too bad out there this morning. We do have the clouds developing this morning, so not much sunshine, at least to start, but we might see more of that later this afternoon as these clouds do start to break up. Traffic moving along pretty good this morning. But overall, still some clouds out there, not as much as what the satellite imagery, excuse me, let's try that again here. We're seeing more clouds than what the satellite imagery is showing because sometimes these are hard to pick up by the infrared. Although here we're seeing some more of that because it's still chilly over there this morning. Let's zoom things out at this point, and high pressure is off toward the north and west. That's going to be moving in our direction, and that's going to be equaling possibly some breaks in the clouds and maybe sunshine as early as today, later this afternoon, but better opportunities as we head towards the weekend. Temperatures look like this. So we're in the upper teens here in the Northwoods, 20s further down toward the south, 25 degrees in Stevens Point. But look at this, a lot cooler off toward the north and west. Temperatures there below zero this morning. Hourly forecast today warming up pretty nicely. Temperatures may get in the teens and 20s this afternoon. High temperature 20 degrees, just a few degrees below normal.
The Oneida County Sheriff's Office has caught a wanted man in Rhinelander. Cody Camrath was taken into custody around 7:20 Thursday morning when he was spotted on the steps of the Rhinelander Library. He was brought in on a warrant for a probation violation. He we have no word yet on what he did to violate his probation. Camerath grew up in Tomahawk. An alleged sexual predator has been arrested by the Oneida County Sheriff's Office. 58-year-old Paul J. Johnson from Leona was arrested on Thursday. Forest County Sheriffs and the Rhinelander Police Department helped with the arrests. He faces multiple charges, including use of a computer to facilitate a child sex crime, child enticement, and an attempted second-degree sexual assault of a child under 16 years old. Johnson will make his initial appearance in Oneida County Court today at 1:15 p.m. Many fire departments across the Northwoods are in need of the next generation of firefighters. A new grant could help them out. The Department of Safety and Professional Services recently announced the 3 recipients of a grant program that provides funding for youth firefighter training programs. Among the winners was Nicolet College, which received $4,000. Its program works with Northland Pines High School and the Eagle River Fire Department. The funds will be used for textbooks costs, for practical exam review, tuition for firefighter skills review, and more. The goal is to give interested students an easier path towards fighting fires, professionally or on a volunteer basis. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is holding a public meeting to talk about options for improving U.S. Highway 8. The stretch of road in question is between State Highway 47 and Oneida County P near Rhinelander in Oneida County. The meeting will be held on Wednesday, January 18th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the council room at the Rhinelander City Hall. There will be a short presentation followed by a public discussion. The project is geared towards fixing old, worn-out pavement and coming up with the best plan to make the road more safe for residents and motorists. The intersection of Highway 8 and 17 South is a main concern. With a new legislative session beginning this week in Madison, and it's another year of shared power. This means no one will get all of what they want, so they have to prioritize the most important issues to them. Stevens Point Assemblywoman Katrina Shankland says that the hopes to increase shared revenue, which the governor has also signaled he is in favor of.
I hear from a lot of people in communities across central Wisconsin that they're concerned about the rise in property taxes locally. And that really is a function of the state not sharing the revenue with local governments. So what I want to do is increase shared revenue to our local communities, our counties, our villages, our cities, and our towns, so that way they can afford to cover basic services without having to raise a levy, which in turn raises property taxes.
Schofield Assemblyman Patrick Snyder, on the other hand, says that he hopes to accomplish legislation for child care because of his chairmanship on the Children's and Families Committee.
And I think that we really need to engage on that to try to make it a little bit more easier for some of the folks maybe to start a daycare center or maybe help them in their in-home licensed daycare centers.
The governor had called for a middle-class tax cut, work on reproductive rights, and the legalization of marijuana in his inaugural address on Tuesday. And it's 6:35 a.m. Coming up next, Monday saw a horrific incident during Monday Night Football with safety Damar Hamlin suffering cardiac arrest. Find out the latest as he begins his journey in recovery. And
the roads are looking a lot better out there as we're going to be seeing some sunshine possibly later this afternoon, but better opportunities this weekend. Your full local forecast is coming up next.
With only 83 calories and all this creaminess, who needs to give up sweets? Not me.
Northland Basement Systems is the all things basementy company. Basement waterproofing, basement finishing, basement structural repair, humidity and mold control, and nasty crawl spaces too. When it comes to basement solutions, nobody does it better than we do. Since 1991, homeowners just like you in the Northland have trusted Northland Basement Systems for all things basementy in their homes. Call Northland Basement Systems today to schedule a free home evaluation.
Psoriasis really messes with you.
Try, hope, fail.
No one should suffer like that.
I started Cosentix. 5 years clear.
Real people with psoriasis look and feel better with Cosentyx. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections, some serious, and the lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to. Tell your doctor if your Crohn's disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
Best move I ever made.
Ask your dermatologist about Cosentyx.
Welcome to Patchouli Garden in Park Falls. We love authentic Indonesian patchouli and we specialize in our original custom blends. Everything with the Patchouli Garden name on it we make right here in our store. Visit Patchouli Garden in the store or online.
You've decided to go back to school. Good for you. Which would you rather do? Get up early, get dressed, drive to college, find a parking spot, walk across campus, only to sit in a giant lecture hall, or earn your degree from home with Independence University. We'll even provide you with a new laptop and tablet to keep when you graduate, and a personal student success team. Independence University. Online, but never alone.
Call 1-800-397-2159. 1-800-397-2159.
The Northwoods provides plenty of beauty year-round, and the weather events that develop can produce some amazing photos. Submit yours online at WJFW's weather photo section on the website to share with the WJFW weather team.
Welcome back. Let's get things rolling out here on this Friday morning. We're almost to the weekend. It's starting off pretty quiet out there. Still some clouds out there, but the good news is to report the roads are pretty decent. Things are calming down out there. And for those that love sunshine, we might see some of that later this afternoon and even more just in time for the weekend. Not much clouds showing up on here, but they are out there, as you've seen on our sky cams, Minocqua and everywhere else, seeing some clouds this morning. It's hard for the infrared satellite to see some of this, although we're seeing some of the returns all toward the north and west, because it's rather chilly in the northwestern parts of the state this morning. We're talking temperatures there that are below zero this morning. As a result, high pressure is going to be moving in from the northwest to the south and east, and that's going to be helping us out as far as clearing out the clouds and maybe even getting some sunshine again as early as today, with even more on the way for tomorrow. But we might have to watch out for some fog as well later on tonight. So futurecast looks like this. So we're going to start seeing the clouds breaking up just in time for the afternoon period, just slowly but surely, so just in time before it sets. But then we'll have some clearing of the skies, a few passing clouds and fog developing overnight tonight, possibly some freezing fog with temperatures well below freezing. In fact, in the single digits for those overnight lows. But just in time for Saturday, look how much the clouds break up. So some sunshine will be enjoyed just in time for the weekend. Maybe some more fog on the way and a mostly clear to partly cloudy sky overnight Saturday night and the parts of Sunday morning. So the winds look like this right now. They're out of the northwest going to the south and east at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. So nothing too ridiculous at this point, and they won't get ridiculous at all either. The winds will be calm for the next day or so. Look at this, maybe at about 5 to 10 miles per hour for the overall winds. These are the gusts. So that tells you the sustained winds will be calm as well as the gusts. So winds finally starting to relax here across the Northwoods. But here's where it's a little cool out there this morning in a few areas. We're in the upper teens here in the Northwoods, middle teens, Mantua, Waters, and Arbor Vitae, and 12 degrees further off towards west versus 20s further down toward the south, 19 degrees in Marshfield. But Hayward, 8 below this morning. Ashland, 3 below. And Superior also at 3 below this morning. So courtesy of some clearer skies and calmer winds taking place there. But we'll warm up pretty nicely. Today, average high temperature is 23 degrees. We reach for the lower 20s. Today, the middle 20s for the weekend. Upper 20s for you Monday. Back in the mid-20s Tuesday near Wednesday. Upper 20s just in time as we head towards your Thursday. So we're below freezing the next several days. So this will help to keep that snowpack around. Although some days with the sun coming out may melt just a little bit of that snow and ice. And speaking of ice, so plenty of ice on the area lakes. Many areas seeing up to possibly a foot of ice on the area lakes. So good enough for the vehicles, but still make sure you're checking that ice before you head out there so your vehicle doesn't get stuck or worse things happen. Lower 20s today, mostly cloudy. Northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour with temperatures below freezing, helping to firm the ice on the area lakes. 4 degrees tonight, partly cloudy areas of dense fog, possibly freezing fog too, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast looks like this. A lot of dry days on the way and even some sunshine just in time for the weekend. Temperatures in the mid-20s, upper 20s Monday, mostly cloudy skies, mid-20s Tuesday with a mostly cloudy sky, and slight chances for snow get going Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures remain in the 20s. Michael?
Doctors treating Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin said Thursday afternoon that the 24-year-old is showing signs of improvement. This includes his brain function, vital signs, and organ recovery. Hamlin has been hospitalized and suffering an on-field cardiac arrest following a hard hit during Monday's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. Doctors say Hamlin is still on a ventilator. He is not speaking, but is able to communicate in writing. When Hamlin began to wake up, the first question he wrote on a clipboard was, "Did we win?"
But he is making substantial progress. As of this morning, he is beginning to awaken, and it appears that his neurological condition and function is intact.
Doctors say Hamlin is still considered critically ill and is being cared for in the intensive care unit. The NFL has decided that they will not resume the Bills and Bengals game, and it will not be replayed. With one game left in the regular season, the league is still working out the details of how the now canceled game will affect playoff seeding. The estate of a Capitol Police officer who died after responding to the U.S. Capitol riots is suing former President Donald Trump and two of the rioters. The estate of Brian Sicknick filed a civil lawsuit for damages of more than $10 million in Washington, D.C.'s federal court on Thursday, a day before the 2-year anniversary of the Capitol attack. The complaint alleges the two rioters were allegedly involved in a violent attack of Sicknick during the riots. Sicknick died the next day of natural causes after he suffered multiple strokes. His estate's lawsuit notes Trump's instructed his supporters to fight like hell in his speech before the Capitol riot. The filing alleges conspiracy, negligence, and assault played a part in this case. And it seems like Groundhog Day for Republicans on Capitol Hill. Day after day, Kevin McCarthy has failed to secure enough votes to become Speaker. Each time, a small group of holdouts have blocked his bid. Today, lawmakers will head to the floor for the 12th time to cast their vote. NBC's Bree Jackson has more.
Fulcher. McCarthy.
Vote.
Gates. Trump.
After vote.
Cloud. Donalds.
After vote.
McCarthy.
And still no House Speaker. Kevin McCarthy, the leading Republican vote-getter, failing to reach the magic number of 218 for the 11th time Thursday. Still, he says he'll try and try again.
Can you all hypothetical anything you want? Who else can get to 200 votes?
Roughly 90% of GOP members support McCarthy's bid to become Speaker, but a small group of rebel Republicans say they never will, even voting for former President Trump instead.
I wouldn't be betting on my vote for Kevin McCarthy under almost any circumstance.
It takes the 4th of July, it takes the 4th of July, but at the end of the day, Kevin will get a speech.
Despite making concessions, including a rule that a single House member could force a vote to remove the Speaker, some hardline holdouts refuse to budge.
Politics for these people has become entertainment. It has become sport.
The House can't function amid the fierce GOP infighting, as frustrated Democrats can only sit by and watch.
Literally a branch of the government is offline while we're waiting for this to get resolved.
This is only an example of what we're likely to see over the next couple of years.
The House stands adjourned until... After days of chaos on the House floor, lawmakers hope to bring this lengthy process to an end. It's now the longest contest for the gavel since before the Civil War. In Washington, Bree Jackson for NBC News.
And coming up, we have Jay and Angie from Forest County Humane Society with another edition of Homeward Bound. But first, Howard is in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen with a recipe for lighter tiramisu.
Mr. Food Test Kitchen is brought to you by Golden Carrot Jewelers and Creative Kitchen and Bath Studio.
All this week, we've been looking at ways to eat better. One of the biggest challenges that many of us face is how to satisfy our sweet tooth while staying on track. If you're like me and try to totally cut sweets out of your diet, you'll probably end up cheating after a short while. A better option, use moderation and cut back on sugar and fat as much as possible. Let me show you a to-die-for version of tiramisu that does just that. We start by lining the bottom of an 8-inch square baking dish with ladyfingers and drizzling them with some strong black coffee. On top of that goes a layer of sugar-free instant vanilla pudding mixed with some fat-free cream cheese and a little bit more coffee. More ladyfingers go on top, and we finish it with some fat-free whipped topping and a dusting of cocoa powder. A few hours in the fridge, and done. This recipe is actually from our friends at EverydayDiabeticRecipes.com. Yes, it's still as decadent as traditional tiramisu, yet it only has 83 calories per piece and less than 1 gram of saturated fat. To get this recipe, as well as lots of other lighter ones, all you have to do is go to our website and type in lighter tiramisu. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a skinnier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
At Eagle Floor Covering in Eagle River, we have a knowledgeable staff, competitive pricing, and free estimates. Browse our selection of carpet, vinyl, wood, and tile for your next home project.
Oh my gosh! In today's economy, it seems the value of a dollar continues to shrink, while the services offered are getting less and less. Here at Maher Water Corporation, a new high-efficiency system made by WaterCare can help ease the stress on your checkbook. We are always available to analyze and recommend one of these units.
So while we can't actually make your money grow, we can make the value of what you get from Maher seem like it.
Hey, Dad, I'm almost out.
I got you.
Any questions, Chris?
All good. Thanks, Maura.
Healthier is managing all your family's prescriptions in one app.
With an Invisalign smile, everything clicks. And that class reunion becomes...
Is that Anna?
Invis is the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner and more predictable results. Invisalign.
Newswatch 12's Dan Hagan, Jessica Jukic, and meteorologist Jeff Weller bring you the news and weather of the North Woods. Alongside the Newswatch 12 team, they are committed to the community and ensuring the local stories make headlines. The Newswatch 12 team works hard to deliver the most important news from where you live, as well as local weather reports. Watch Dan, Jessica, and Jeff weeknights on WJFW NBC 12.
Stay on top of breaking news and the biggest stories of the day with NBC News Daily. Get in-depth reporting from across the country and around the world, tips to take care of your health and your wallet, and up-to-the-minute local news. NBC News Daily, weekdays on NBC.
Weather Watch 12 with Devin Biggs, 5 to 7 a.m. Homeward Bound on Newswatch 12 today is sponsored by Paws and Claws.
Well, that's one way to start the Homeward Bound.
Yes. Welcome back to Newswatch 12 Today. We're joined by Jay and Angie from the Forest County Humane Society, and they brought Mrs. B, who's got a ton of energy, and Max over here, who's
also a lot of
relaxed.
energy.
Yeah. Oh, so tell us. Oh boy. So tell us a little bit about these guys.
Well, Mrs. B was surrendered back in July. She needs a home. She's been with us for a while. And unfortunately, she's, the black dog that gets overlooked at the shelter a lot. She's got this harness on her face today that helps keep her from pulling.
You can tell he's a lover.
Yes.
Doggy's a lover. She's a lover.
She's a lover, yeah.
So is Mrs. B a morning person?
Apparently a morning person.
All right, so Max over here. How old is Max?
So Max is under a year.
Oh,
and
goodness. He's so big.
Yeah, I know. He's just a big goofball is what he is. He's just a lover. He loves everybody. He loves other dogs. He's just...
Oh, yeah, he'll start kissing you, although he's calmed down. Or
yeah, that's
he,
good.
She. I'm sorry.
He and she.
He and she. Okay. I get so confused so easily.
Yeah. But he's good.
So what is Max?
A pity mix.
A pity mix?
Yeah.
Is that what Mrs. B is as well?
Yeah, I think Max is actually probably purebred pity.
Oh, goodness.
And Mrs. B, she's a mixed breed.
Yeah.
Bully breed, pity mix. Yeah.
All right. So what sort of family would be good for these guys?
She's great with kids and everything. She came out of a family with kids. You have to be a little careful with other female dogs. She can be a little selective if they get in her face. But I will say, like in the morning, I throw the kennel door open, and she runs past all the other dogs and runs to the toy box every morning. Picks out a toy and heads for the door.
Yeah,
that's her thing.
Is that one of them this morning?
Yeah, this is one of her favorites. I brought one of her favorite toys to make sure we can manage her on TV. Yeah. And we're working on out and drop.
Tug of war, too, it looks like.
Some manners,
definitely a morning dog, too, for those early birds.
Yep.
All right, and Max over here.
I think he would be great in any family. He's just so lovable.
No, he looks adorable.
He is. He's just a big goofball. He's just like,
It is chilling right now too. I mean, he was giving me, or I'm sorry, he. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm so confused this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, he is giving me a whole lot of love this morning.
Oh,
but now he's calmed down. Although they're eyeing each other at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
This is the first time they've met, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to let them play together yet.
Yeah.
We'd like to. They'd be a good pair probably because I think she would help. Ironically, usually she's the one with the manners, and he could use some being a puppy.
Oh, really?
But this morning, you wouldn't know it. She's pretty excited to be out and about.
It's nice to have her here. And so how is the new year over there at the Forest County Humane Society?
We're full.
Still full.
Yep, and there's lots of puppies still.
2 strays and a surrender so far on the dog side. 2 cats came in yesterday.
Yeah.
And 2 adoptions. So we're
1 goes out, 2 comes in.
Oh my gosh.
And that's tough. Does anyone help you out? Does anyone help you out with some of the overflow?
Not really. I mean, thankfully, we've always had a kennel when we've needed it, and we've always managed, but we're full. We're really full.
Well, it looks like Mrs. B calmed down. Spoke too soon.
Yeah.
But, these guys are absolutely lovable and adorable. And to get more information about what you have available at the Forest County Humane Society, where would people go?
Yep, they can go to any form of social media. We're on Facebook. We're on, everything. And they can also go to our website, forestcountyhumanesociety.org. They can go to Pet Finder. They can go to Adopt a Pet to see what's available. There's so many places they can go. And they can reach us at Forest County or ForestHumane1@yahoo.com. That's our email.
There you go.
And there's always the Sunday afternoon dog walk that everybody's invited to come to. And we try to get all our dogs out for a walk.
Oh my gosh, that'd be quite the walk with all these guys running around.
Yeah.
I mean, cabin fever is real, not only for us humans, but also for the furry children too. They need to have a chance to get outside.
And it gives them a chance to meet new people that they don't know, and we can, get them together with other dogs, see how they are with other dogs.
Have you gotten adoptions from some of those dog walks before?
Yeah, we have. Well, Pete was one of them.
Yeah.
That Pete used to be a new anchor here.
Yes.
And he used to come on the
Peter, that's right. Duh.
He used to come on the dog walks with us, and then he found his
buddy.
That's right, Simba, if I remember correctly, right?
I couldn't remember what
I have to get in touch with Peter to see how Simba's doing. So that's been a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on this morning, guys. We appreciate it. Max is absolutely chilling.
He is.
And Mrs. B's got a lot of energy. So good luck with these guys today.
Thank
and
you.
I think right now we got trivia, don't we, Devin?
Right? It's hard to stare at the dog right now, but we do have trivia right now. What is the coldest game time temperature ever for a Packer game at Lambeau Field? Is it 40 below, 35 below, 24 below, or 13 below? The answer when we come back.
I can feel machinery.
Get up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of furniture and mattresses must go. Lowest prices around on recliners, sofas, mattresses, and lots more. Slumberland Furniture.
Carpet City.
Uh-oh. Did your holiday hosting create a couple extra stains in your carpet? Or do you just need an update for your old flooring? Come to Carpet City Flooring Center and start your year off right with free carpet installation. That's right, free carpet installation. If money is a little tight, Carpet City Flooring Center can help make your project affordable with interest-free financing. Get your free carpet installation today.
Carpet City. Our prices will floor you.
See your local Northern Wisconsin and UP Ski-Doo dealers.
Bag sale, 15% off. So I was thinking we could fix up a few things around here. New cordless drill, so we can finally hang those pictures. LED bulbs, that'll help with the electric bill. Picked up some toothpaste for us. Always need batteries. New coat of paint for the mudroom. And finally, something to unclog that basement sink.
The bag is back. Hurry in and get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag now at Menards.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and choose one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs ready for delivery. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
Up to 80% off list prices during our huge inventory reduction sale at Slumberland Furniture. $20 million worth of merchandise must go. Lowest prices around on mattresses, rugs, bar stools, sectionals, accent chairs, and more at Slumberland Furniture.
All right, let's have some fun here. What is the coldest game time temperature ever for a Packer game at Lambeau Field?
All right, Jay, what do you think?
And they still sold out season tickets. I'm going to go with 24.
You're going 24 below?
I'm going 13.
13 below, Michael?
I'm going to go 13 as well.
And it is actually 13 below. The Ice Bowl held on December 31st, 1967. Wind chills reached 48 below. And I also checked, this was the coldest NFL game on record. So that record still stands, too. So how appropriate for Lambeau Field to hold that title. So obviously with Sunday Night Football on NBC coming up Sunday night, Packers have a lot going on there. So make sure to check them out right here on NBC. But for now, though, we have high pressure that's currently developing. Maybe some dogs moving in, too. But we're going to be seeing the clouds giving out soon, which will give us some sunshine coming up a little bit later this afternoon. But maybe some more in the way of fog and some clouds mixed sometime later on tonight. So we'll need to make sure to be ready for that. Those temperatures right now kind of all over the place. We're in the upper teens to even lower 20s across the viewing area with 8 below wind chill or air temperatures in Hayward. Some clearer skies and calmer winds there. A lot of them cool off as a push of cool air has moved in. But forecast for today, not bad. Mostly cloudy, temperatures in the lower 20s. The northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, getting chilly out there. 4 degrees above zero, partly cloudy with areas of dense fog, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Northwoods Furniture and Mattress 7-day forecast looks like this. So a lot of dry days on the way, partly cloudy, sunshine on the way just in time for the weekend. But then more clouds Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures overall in the 20s, but the middle and upper 20s could stick around Wednesday and Thursday with slight chances for snow on the way. And Michael, I think we have some good news to report for next week, right? I think it's safe for us to say this.
I have no idea.
Is it birthday club or?
Oh yes, birthday club.
I think it's safe to say.
It's like, what good news are we coming up with now?
Birthday. I think yes, birthday club.